This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everyone, and I hope you all are doing good. So, if you all attended yesterday's session too, that's great. If not, please do watch the class recording. And for those who might have missed it, let me just give a quick recap of it. So, last class we explored the key differences between artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI in a way that which makes sense. Like AI is the broadest term which covers anything that makes machines smart, and machine learning is a subset of AI, and it allows machines to learn from past data and make predictions using different machine learning algorithms. And then deep learning, which is again a subset of machine learning, which uses neural networks to mimic how the human brain processes information. And then we saw generative AI, which is a creative artistic AI, which create something new, like new images, music, or text that which never existed before. Connected. As we move forward, you will start seeing how these concepts come together in real world applications. So we also explored some generative AI tools. So there are actually a lot of many out there, like, but we looked at few interesting ones like in video, which creates video. So what you can do is like you can generate a essay from any text generating tools, and then you can put that text or document into InVideo, and you can ask the InVideo to generate videos with artificial intelligence, with voiceover and images too. So we can create videos using InVideo, and then Humata to summarize and analyze documents, and Suno AI to create music. So I would recommend you can try. There are many exciting generative AI tools already. Like for if you are into finance, there is numerous AI which will help you with Excel sheets. So you can automate your work with numerous AI. So there are a lot already. So AI is evolving rapidly, and believe it or not, like what we see today is just the beginning, or you can say that this is the worst phase of AI, right? It's evolving very dynamically. A few years from now, AI will be capable of so much more than it is today. Like we don't know like how which direction it's going to be. It's very very dynamic, but the growth is exponential. So that's why like simply knowing how to use AI tools for tasks like generating images or videos won't be enough for us. So it's good for productivity, but it won't necessarily make you stand out or get you high paying salaries and all. But what really matters is that understanding what's happening behind the scenes, how these tools actually work, and how AI models are built, and eventually how to create our own AI applications. And that's where the real value is, like creating own AI applications, or creating right now like creating an agent AI. So yeah, not just like using ChatGPT or any generative AI tools and generating few images and videos. uh, it's not the real purpose of learning AI. It improves the productivity for our work, but yeah. So let's start moving in that direction of understanding what is happening behind the scenes. So, and then we spoke about ChatGPT, and we spoke a little about LLMs, like which are behind the scenes of ChatGPT, and LLMs are powered by something called the transformer architecture, we said, and we didn't go too deep into the technical details, but we discussed it at a very high level. So whenever you interact with ChatGPT, you're actually using an advanced LLM built on transformer models, which is one of the biggest breakthrough in AI. So then we discussed prompt engineering, where giving the right inputs leads to better AI outputs, because each word costs money, each token costs money. So, and we also introduced agent AI, so which can automate tasks like planning trips and all. Already there are a lot of advancements, like people are talking about vibe coding and all. So yeah. And finally, we discuss career paths in AI, a roadmap to mastering it, and the course structure. So this is just a quick recap. So if you really missed the session, I highly recommend watching the recording when you get a chance. Today, what we are going to do is we'll start directly with Python programming basics. So before that, can you confirm like how did you join today's session, laptop or mobile? You can just put it in the chat if you have joined through laptop or mobile. Just put laptop, mobile word in the chat. How did you join this session today? Okay, laptop. Okay, great. Anybody with mobile? For first few sessions, it's okay if you join through mobile, but to work alongside with me to practice, laptop would be better. So yeah, it's okay. Like first few sessions with mobile are okay, but yeah, I recommend laptop. So yeah, and one more question. If you already know Python, please stay a little patient because we'll start with the very basics and gradually move to more complex topics. So, and like, let me ask, like, if you are programming for the first time, just put one in the chat. And if you already know programming, if you know Python or any other programming language, just put two in the chat so that I can adjust the class speed accordingly. Let me see, like if you're programming for the first time, okay. Oh, I can see a lot of one here, but no worries. Like we are going to start with very basic of programming. Okay, there's mixed responses, like, but a lot of ones, yeah. It's okay. So, okay. So before we just start with all, like, let me just generally ask a basic question about Python. Like, who do you think invented Python and when it was first released? So when do you think like Python got released first? Is it in 2000s, yeah, 1990s, 80s? What do you think? When is the first time Python got released? No idea? Okay, somewhere in 1960s, okay. Any other responses? 90s, Harita, correct. So it was actually released by Guido van Rossum in 1991. So now tell me like which language do you think was invented first, Python or Java? Which one do you think is older, Python or Java? Okay, Python. I see answers Python. Okay, now Suchi says Java. Okay, so the right answer is Python is older. You are correct. It's released in 1991, while Java came out in 1995. Python's rise to fame wasn't like sudden, it was a steady climb, like especially with increased focus on data science and machine learning in early 2010s. We started hearing about Python a lot. Before it was C language and Java and all. Uh, yeah, because of this data science field, there's a steady rise of Python in 2010s. So what do you think? Like, let's talk about where can we do Python coding. So where can we do Python coding? Like, have you any have you heard about IDEs before, like integrated development environments? Any IDE names you can put it in the chat? Okay, where you can do Python coding, Visual Studio, correct? Okay, great, good. Anaconda, great. So have you ever heard about Google Colab? Do you know Google Colab? Okay, I see no. So today we are going to use Google Colab actually. So Google Colab is a product of Google where we can directly do Python programming without installing anything onto your laptops. So it's connected to online servers and we can use it directly. The only requirement are the Gmail account and internet connection. So this Google Colab is essentially an online version of Jupyter Notebooks. So I can see Sandhya saying Jupyter Notebook. Yeah. So Google Colab is actually the online version of Jupyter Notebook, which is an offline IDE. So here it's a very fantastic tool because multiple people can collaborate on the same notebook and you don't have to bother about your system's OS and RAM for installing softwares too. So now I'm going to share the link to our first class notebook. So don't worry if you know nothing about Google Colab, don't worry, we are going to go slow here. So I'm going to share the link and then I'll share my screen. So I'm not giving you all the edit access, but you can make a copy of it. So let me share my screen and show you how to create a copy of it. So I've shared my screen, and now you can look at the Google Colab notebook. This is how it looks. So you just need your Gmail ID login and internet access. That's all. So every class, these steps are going to be repeated. So each lesson we have put it in the Google Colab, where you have the theory and the activities together. So we have the collab with all the lesson plan ready. So what we are going to do is, uh, you have to go to the file and you see save a copy in drive. You have to create a copy for yourself. So this is not for only lesson one. From today there are like around like 100 classes. So for each class we have a different file like this with different activities and theory. That's the reason I've told, like, you don't have to take notes, you just concentrate on doing the coding part. So with this Google Colab, the good thing is that we can do the texting and coding both here. So you can see plus code and plus text on the left side. So if you just click on plus text, you are going to have a text cell here. So where you can directly, uh, yeah, you can write anything here. So, and if you want to do the coding, you can just click on plus code here, or at the center of the screen you can see like you have again plus code and plus text. You can use any one of it for coding purpose. So whatever code I write, like 7 plus I 8, let's do a simple addition. If I just run it, so it's a code cell with a run button on the left side, and you can see it's connecting to the online servers. Only for the first time it would take like 20-30 seconds, but after that it would be faster. So 15 is a first code in Python. It's so simple to code with Python. So, and here you can see the share option, right? So once the Google Colab is ready, we can see that I've just gave you the viewer access. I didn't give you the editor access because multiple people can work on this Google Colab, and whatever codes I update, and if you start working on the same sheet, all the codes get updated here, so it gets confused for everybody. So this is what we maintain. Like each lesson I'll send you the Google Colab. At the start of the class you can create a copy for yourself and start working. So you can see at the start of the class the code cells are empty, but at the end of the class, since I work on this sheet and I save it, so next time, like in real batch, like once the sessions get private also, like in the WhatsApp, we'll be having all the links. So whenever you click on it, so you're going to have the updated codes too. So, and yeah, so are you able to open this collapse? So I'm sharing the link again. So for the first time, few people might be getting notebook loading error. So it's the usual issue, we get it for the first time when they are doing it. So there are few steps you have to follow. For some people it might work with incognito mode in the or the private mode. Or for some, like after clearing the cache or history, it would work. So first class, like you can put it in the chat if you are able to open it after clicking on the link. All of you are able to open the Google Colab from your end, or anybody's there with notebook loading error. So I can see yes, yes, okay, great. So make sure you're logging with personal laptops and you have Gmail ID logged in. So it's working, I can see working here. So if there's someone who for whom it's not working, so you can try incognito mode or clearing the history and cache. So then also it doesn't work, like tomorrow, like after the class you stay back, I can also look into your issue if it's not working then also. So this is how we are going to work, where you every day we are going to use this Google Colab for all the lessons. So any questions before we start? Okay, so introduction to Python. So it's a high-level interpreted and interactive programming language that is known for its readability and simplicity. Python programming is very simple. We just saw before, like if you just click on plus code, I write like 4 plus 3, it's a code in Python where you can just get the addition of it. But for the same, like if you want the same addition with Java or C language, you have to write 4 to 5 lines of code. So Python is very simple, it's easy to read. So it's excellent language for beginners. If you have no idea of any programming languages before, Python is the best programming language to start with, because the core concepts of any programming language would remain same. It's just the syntax keep changing around. So if you learn one programming language, it would help you build learning the other programming languages also. So yeah, so we'll start with basic arithmetic operations with Python. Like addition, we have just seen, like, you just use the operator plus, like you just do addition, you run it, you get the output. And like if you are able to open the collapse after making the copy, you can also start typing and running the codes. So you have clicked on save a copy in Drive. So now you have a copy saved in your Google Drive. So after the class, if you want to access it, go to your Gmail ID which you have logged in, and you directly click on the lesson name here. Like we have put in lesson 01 May 20. So you click on it, collab would be open, and you can just run the codes and practice. So subtraction, yeah, minus sign, which is 7 minus 6. If I just run this, so I'm going to get the subtraction. And multiplication, yeah, so asterisk symbol is for multiplication. Simple, like 4 into 3 is 12 here. So division, again, slash here. So if you see the green lines here, these are nothing but the comments in Python. So whenever you write a code and if you want to comment it, so if you put hash symbol before it, they become comments. This is not a code anymore, these are comments. So this is like one line of codes we are writing it here, but in real time, if you are writing like bigger codes or yeah, so it's better we comment codes for your teammates to understand it better, or for us, like for looking at the codes later on to understand it better. So these are basic, like multiplication, division and all. Any idea what is modulus? So if I just uh, 5 modulus of 3, what do you think would be the output? Any idea what is the symbol is used for? We call it like modulus, but what do you think would be the output? So I can
It will
see
be the
two,
reminder.
yeah, reminder actually. So if I just run it, so 2. So what modulus does is, so if you use modulus, you're going to get the reminder. So it's like if you want to, so 6 modulus of 2 is nothing but you're dividing, and the reminder here, like whatever reminder you're getting here would be the output here. So if I just take modulus of 4, what do you think would be the output? So you have the collabs also with you, right? You can just run it and check it too. So correct. Yeah. Yeah. Both of you, Teal and Prabhaharan, both are correct. So, and then exponent, like if you want to raise one number to the power of another, like if you want to get 2 square, so you take the exponent, uh, both asterisks together, like, so this is not 4 into 2, but this is 4 square. So 4 into 4. So that means 16 here. And what would be the output now? 6, both asterisks 2. What would be the output? Correct. So it's the, we are raising the power of another. And float division. So we have seen simple division with simple one hash here, but when you give like double hash here, so divides one number by another and rounds down to the nearest integer. So float division, in the sense you're going to get the rounded value. So maybe like 5 float division 2. So it would be 2 here. So the actual output is 2.5. It's going to round to the nearest integer. So you're going to get the integer values here. Now, if you have no idea what is an integer, for now, just we are going for the next activities where you know what is an integer, what is a floating point and all. So if you just observe here, like when I've used float division, the output was like 3, and you see like with divisions, we are usually getting the output like decimal numbers. Before also 8/2, you're getting like not 4 as the round figure, but you are getting 4.0. So with the division, output is a decimal number here. So if you learn any new language, even it's a human foreign language, we have some grammar or new uh, new words to remember there, right? The same with programming language. It's just that the language of machines. But here also, like to learn a language, new language, you have to learn new syntax, new terminology. So the rounded numbers are integers in math, and it's integers here also, but the decimal numbers, we call them float. So we call them float here. So when you, if you want to check the type of it, so there's a function called type. So if you just want to check the data type of it, we call it like data type of it. If you use this function, it will give you the output saying like it's a float. So if I just use the type function and let me use the float division and run it, you would see that output was an integer here. The same way, if I just want to print a text, so if I just want to print word, what do you think would be the output if I just run this? Will it work? What would be the output if I just run this text called word here? Mhm. Are you able to do the codes from your end? So if I just run this here, just by writing word, if I just run it, you would see that it's throwing error. Name word is not defined because there is a rule for writing text. So text for Python, we have to write them inside quotations. Only then it would work. So this is a rule. Like if you ask me why we are putting quotations, this is how the author has created Python. But for numbers, no need of quotations, it would directly take it. But for text, we need quotations for it. And in Python language, text is called as string. So decimal numbers are called float, normal rounded values are called integer, and text, whatever like written inside quotation, is a string. So what do you think the data type of this? If I just write 5, so if I want to check the type of it, what do you think would be the output? So the type function shows the data type of it. So what do you think would be the output if I just write type and write 5 inside it? So if I just check the type of word, it was string. So if I check the type of 5, what do you think would be the output? So I got one right answer. Yeah. Any other answers? Okay. String. Correct. So it's not an integer, like since you have written it inside the quotations, if you run it, it's a string. So anything written inside quotations, it becomes string. Like the same 5 without quotation, it would have been integer, but whatever you write it inside quotations, they become string for Python programming language. It doesn't matter if it's a text or if it's a number. So any questions still here? We'll go for activity 2, where we are going to work with strings a bit. Like we'll see what happens if we use, what about single quotations? Yeah, you can use either double quotations or single quotations, both would work. Both are strings. Either you can use single or double. Both means string. So is Python case sensitive? Yes, Python is case sensitive. So the word with W capital and small letter, yeah, Python is case sensitive. Okay. Are we going to write any simple programs? Yeah, slowly after introduction of the terminology, after knowing what are the data types and variable, slowly we'll write simple programs too. So let's play around with strings. Like, what do you think would happen if I just use plus operator with strings? What do you think would be the output? Will this throw error? Because before, like 5 plus 7, if I do it, I'm going to get the addition here, right? So now it's the text here. So we have string plus string. What do you think would be the output? Okay, so correct, Ravi. Yeah. So okay, Harita, like I've just added integers here. If I do 5 plus 7, then you are correct, like it's 57. It's not addition then, but when you add strings with plus operator, you are going to get the concatenation. We call it like concatenation. With word plus Python also, you are going to get both the words added together like this, word Python. So even its numbers, if you put it in text, like strings, it has become strings here when you put it in quotations, and when you add it, you don't see the addition. Now you see that it's a concatenation. So if you use word and then you use the multiplication and you do the 3, then it would be repetition of that particular word. So if you start using all other arithmetic operators like subtraction and Python, if I just run it, then it would throw error. So unsupported operand, like unsupported operand for string and string. So usually we use plus and multiplication only for concatenation and repetition, but all these arithmetic operators would work on numbers, not on strings. So, and mixing data types. What do you think happens if I add word plus 6? What do you think would be the output if I just add one string and one integer? Correct, Raghu. So when you add two different data types together, it would throw error. Like cannot concatenate string to integer. Either you have to convert this to a string by using string function so that it gets concatenated, or you can do it by just giving quotations. So whichever way we are comfortable, so we can do that. So you just give quotations and then it would work. But if you add an integer and string, it would throw error. So, and yeah. So till now we were introducing few data like terminology like text are called strings, numbers like integer, floating point, basic arithmetic operators, right? Now let's come to the basic of programming like variable. What do you think a variable is? So this question is not for the first timers, but for someone who have already done programming. What is a variable? If someone asks you like what is variable, what would be your answer? Okay, this answer here. So you can give it in whatever terms you think yeah right for it. So what is a variable? Memory placeholder, correct. So like for human brains, if I give you a task like just remember like a equal to 5 or b equal to 4, then I ask like what is a plus b, what is the answer? Like a equal to 5. Yeah, correct, Pooja. So b is equal to 4, a plus b, what is the output? So if I just say a equal to 5 and b equal to b equal to 4, if I just ask you like what is a plus b, then it would be your mind would process this information. It would have stored a value as 5 and b value as 4 in the backend, like somewhere in the minds it would work. And when I just ask like a plus b, then you would add like 5 plus 4 and you give me the answer 9, right? So the same way, like if you want the programming language to store a value, we need variables. So variable is like a container where you can store a value inside it, and you can store only one single value, and you can name it. So naming process of variables, or in coming classes, any naming process of functions, whatever we create, the naming process, we call it like Python identifiers. So there are few rules for naming. For human naming too, we have few rules, right? We don't name, maybe crazy people might name, they give like maybe crazy names like, but we don't see a person having names like chair, table, ball. So maybe they have names of months like April, May, but yeah. So names that you can assign values to, Python identifiers are names used to identify variables, even the functions, classes, modules. So don't worry about what are all these. So right now we are with variables. So you can define variable like it's like a container where you can store a single value inside it, and we can name it so that like you can reuse that value which you stored in the container. So for naming of these variables, we have few rules which are set by the Python author again. So you cannot name it any random way. So it's case sensitive again. So you can use letters, capital, small, and you can use the underscore symbol. No special characters allowed, and it cannot contain spaces, and it cannot be the keywords already. Like for humans, like we cannot have names like chair, table. There is no rule like we cannot have, but nobody names like that. So here also some keywords like the function names which are already taken, we cannot use that for naming. So you don't have to know now like what are the different keywords available. So you can directly get all the keywords just by help and keywords. You're going to get all the, okay, I think it's keyword. It help. Let me just see if it's not keyword. I have put it in somewhere like you don't have to remember all the keywords. Yeah. Okay, I have to put keywords in quotations. So you are going to get the list of all the Python keywords. So you cannot use all of this as names for variables, and you don't have to remember anything, like you can directly get it from the help. So we call it like Python identifiers, which is something with the rules for naming, and they are case sensitive. As a good practice, name a variable in such a way that it reflects the nature of the value stored in it. So that like when you are working with real time, when you see a variable, you know like what kind of value was stored in it. So, and we already introduced a bit about data types in activity one. So numbers without decimal, we call it like integer. Numbers having digits after decimal points, we call it like floating point number. Any value enclosed with single or double quotations, we call them string. Now we have two extra words which are true and false. So true and false, Python doesn't know yes or no, but it knows like true and false here. So true and false, we call it like Boolean value. If you write true with quotation, it again becomes a string here, but true value without quotations with first letter capital is a Boolean data type. So if you just write again a type of with small t without quotation, it would throw error saying true is not defined. Then you have to give quotations for it to make it string. But for Boolean, capital T and no quotations, then it becomes a Boolean data type. So for false, F capital, and without quotation, it's Boolean. So these are the basic four data types we have: integer, floating point number, strings, and Boolean with T and F capital. And variable can store only one value at a time. So we have just given like examples here. Like we said, like variable cannot start with numbers like this. So if I want to create 1, 2, 3 ABC and store a value inside it, so it would throw error, invalid decimal letters. So first let's see how to create a basic variable. Like you just create it, like if you want to create a variable a equal to 5, you just write a equal to 5. That means you are creating a variable where you name it like a and you are storing value 5 inside it. So this is how you create a simple variable for an integer. And if you create one more variable, b equal to 7, so now again a variable has created where we save the value 7 inside it, and now you want to add two variables, we can do it. So now a plus b. So before, if you have not created them as strings, sorry, variables, if you just write a plus b without quotations, it would throw error. Now you can see that since a and b are now not the words, they are variables for the Python, you don't see error here. So I didn't created any variable c or d here. If I just do like c plus d, it would throw error because c and d is not defined. It's not a variable and it's not a string also. So for variables, when you are using it, what you have to observe here is that we are not giving quotations for it. So, and so we can create floating point variable. Maybe you create one more variable c equal to 7.8. Then if you want to just print c, then it will be 7.8, which is stored inside c. So let me do it this way. First I created a variable w equal to 8. Then I just created one more variable again with the same name, w equal to 10. If I just want to print w, what do you think would be the output now? Will it throw error? Will it print 8, or will it print 10, or both 8 and 10? What do you think would be the output? Okay, Suchi, you think it's 10? Any other answers? 10, yeah, it's correct. So when you create both variables with variable names with same values, so the latest one gets updated. So first you have created w with 8, and then when you say like w equal to 10, so it just overrides the same here with 10. So now you can see, like, the w output is 10 here. So you can check the IDs of variables. Actually, like when you create a variable, ID is created for it in the memory location, but it's difficult to remember the IDs of these variables here. So that's the reason we name it to simplify and we can remember that. So you see, like, ID of W here is 10751144. So the ID of A, which we have created before, is something else. So whenever you create a variable, so ID is specifically given for it. So, and if let's take one more variable, q equal to 10, and then again r equal to 10. If I just run this, if I want to print r, what do you think would be the output? I've just created two variables with different names, but the value are same. So if I just run it and if I just say it's r, so here let's check the ID of q and ID of r. If you observe, it's the same ID for the value here. So we have given two different names, but this is the memory management of Python in the backend. So when you have created a q with value 10, when I just say r again as a different variable with value of 10, instead of creating one more variable and then create like wasting the space, what Python does is, like, it will again just refer to the same ID where 10 is already available and r got referred to it. So that's the reason you see, like, it's the same IDs created in the backend. So it's just that what you have to understand from this is that when you create a variable, memory location is created and ID gets allocated for it. So it's difficult to remember it by IDs and then use it in real programming. So we just give it names so that we can use it, simplify it. So naming process, you cannot name it randomly. There are few rules, like, they cannot start with special characters, cannot contain spaces. So we have given single letters here. So if you are giving a letter like number 1. So if I just write number 1 with space and want to save 100 in it, it would throw error because variable names cannot have spaces there. So it says invalid syntax. So either you have to give underscore, then it would work. So do see the notes and create different variables and check it out. And like if number is starting like this, it would still throw error. Like you can have number after, not as the starting value. So these are few rules. Like you can have number after the text but not as the starting, and you can have you cannot have special characters, right? Let's create it with a dollar and say like 10. It would throw error. So you cannot have special character. You can have underscore is the only special character is allowed. So no other special characters. And keyword, like for is a keyword which is already so you cannot have keywords as variable names. Maybe you can make it like for 11, then it would work, like you're changing the names of it. And it's case sensitive, like you have a equal to 100 and you have capital A equal to 50. It's case sensitive, and if you want to print a, now it would be 100. If you want to print capital A, it would be 50. So like next we have an activity. I want you to try this. You have to create 4 different variables. Take 30 seconds or a minute to store name, your age, gender. So gender you can give true or false, and time right now in the variable. So you create 4 different variables. So on your collab sheets you can try this activity where, yeah, so take a minute and try this. So we have seen few rules how to create variables and all. So first create a variable where you can store your name, and then create a variable where you can store your age, and then create a variable where you can store the gender. Like if it's female, just write true. If it's male, write false. And time right now, whatever location you are, just try to create it. And if you have any questions still here, you can also ask. So for the first timers who are doing it for the first time, is it easy for you, or are you facing any difficulty? Is it okay till now, whatever you have learned till now? Okay, great, Suchi. So you can try creating variables. Creating variable is that left side you should have the name of the variable equal to, and you have to follow the rules for naming the variables, and equal to, and on the right side you assign the value. So we have created different variables till here, but always we have put in integer on the right side. We didn't do any decimal or string, but you know how to create a string also. So take care of that rules and try to create this. For if you're done, you can put a thumbs up, or you can just put it in the chat. Whatever variables you have created, you can just copy paste. So 20 seconds more, you can just try. Then I'll just type it from my end. If you're done, yeah, put a thumbs up. So I'll do it from my end here. So So if you're done, you can just look. If you got errors, you can just look at it. So I've created 4 variables. First is name. Name is a variable name, but when I'm storing text, I have to store it in quotations. Then age for data type of integers, no need of quotations. And floating point numbers, again, no need of quotations. You just give the floating point. Gender, I want to write it true. It's a Boolean data type, so no quotations and capital T. If I just run this, you see like 4 variables are created in the backend, but you don't see any output here. So if you want to print this output, we have to use the print function and print it. But with this Google Colab, so if you want to print output without print, it would work. Like if I want to just print the output which is stored it in variable name gender, it would work like this. If it's only one variable, we are printing for one code cell. If you are printing gender and then age, only the latest one gets printed. So now you can see only the age but not gender. But if you want to see all the 4 variables output, we are going to use the print statement. So print is a function for printing. So the task of this print function is to print whatever is written inside it. So here, if you just write print and a string, it would print that particular string. If you want to print the variables, so the name which we have created and the age and then the gender and the time. India, yeah. So you run it, all the values which are stored inside the variable would be here. But the thing here is when I'm printing the variables, I'm not giving quotations here. If I just give the quotations for variables, then they become strings and you see the output. Okay. So if I just run this, then you see that like, the exact text with whatever I've written inside the quotations would get printed. So if you want to print variables, no need of quotations, you can just write the variable name, then it gets printed. So, and print is a ready-made function. Print function is already created by the Python author, so we can directly use it. We just have to follow the rules of it. So we have a separate class on functions itself. So we have like ready-made functions, and if the ready-made function is not available, then we have to create our own function. We call it like user-defined function. So functions are nothing but each function has a task to do. So print function, the task is to print whatever is written inside it. And if you remember, we have already used a type function before. When you use the type function, so let's use time function on time. So when you use type function, the task of this type function is to display the data type of that particular input which we have given. So it's showing you the float. And there is something called input function. So the task of input function is that before printing, it would take input from the user and print it. The Gmail ID, if you want to enter into your Gmail accounts, you have to enter your user ID and passwords, right? So you have to enter it, then you see the output. And sometimes you enter into few websites, you give your name, you see the ready-made like customized messages like hey, hello, welcome with your names, right? So input function, the task is to take input from the user, and you can use this function like this, like you can just write name and input simply. Like let's take a different variable name. Okay, let's make it name1. So if I just say name1 and input, then if I want to print this variable name1, if I run this, it would give me a cell in the output where I can give the name like John here, and then press enter. Then you would see that it's just printing whatever I've entered here. So you can display the text inside the input function like please enter your name and run it. Then you can enter the name like John. Then it would like print the variable like name1 as John here. So with this input function, what we have to remember is that the input function always takes the input in the data type of string. So the same thing, if you just give the uh, integer here and run it, you would see that the input integer has turned like the output is in quotations here. So whatever you give as an input for the input function, it automatically takes them like strings here. So the problem with this here is that for text it's okay, but after taking the input, if you want to do some mathematic on it, like if you want to do some operation on it, like you want to add that particular number with 10. So since it's a string, we already saw in activity 2, 3 that mixing data types, like it has to be string plus string or integer plus integer. But if you add an integer and string, it would throw error, right? So here, if I just run it, so after taking the input as a number, so if I just give like 10 here, so I expect like 10 plus 10 as 20 in the output, but since input takes 10 as string here, so it would actually throw error. Can only concatenate string, not integer to string. So what we have to do is we have to do the data type conversion. That means like when you use the input function, then you know like you're doing to do some math on it. Then either you can convert the data type here itself. We are converting it to a string here. So then you give, okay, sorry, I want to convert this to an integer. It would throw error here. So I want to convert this to integer so that we can do the math. Then I do like 100 and press enter. Now you can see like we can do the math over it. So if you want to convert any data type to a different data type, you can use int for converting it to an integer or str to convert it to a string. So, and yeah, so we call it like typecasting, changing one data type to another. We call it like typecasting. Always remember to convert the input to the required data type if you need to perform arithmetic operation. So with all the activities we have learned till now, I want you to try this activity. Create a program that asks for the user's birth date, birth year, and calculates their age. So you can use the input function, print function, creating variables. So you can try this activity. Create a program that asks for the user's birth year and calculates their age. So when someone enters their birth year as 2000, they have to see the output like 24, 25. If there are birthday, yeah, we are only giving the year here, so not the month. So try this activity. So take a minute, try this. I'll also start typing here. Don't look at my screen. Just try on your collabs. So if you're not doing it for the first time, you don't have to create so many variables. You can directly do it in simple lines too. So just type in. If you're done, you can just give, if you're able to do it, I'm happy to know. So you can just put done in chat if you're able to do it from your end too. Especially the people who are doing it for the first time, the Python programming, if you're able to do it. Yeah, okay, great. I can see. Good. So you can see that like I've created birth year as a variable, but I'm taking this variable's input using input function. Then I've created one more variable storing 2025 in it, integer. Then age is subtraction of birth year and current year. I'm just printing the output in a fancy way, like your age years old, which is age is this variable here. So whatever age comes up, you're going to see the output here. So now it's like, please enter your birth year. So if you didn't do this typecasting here, then it would throw error because we are doing some arithmetic operation here. So if I just give like 1995 and press enter, it it would show you like you're 30 years old. So yeah, and lastly, more about print function is that like if you want to print hello, how are you with 4 different words, it would something like this, like multiple entities would be printed like with space hello, how are you. But you want to specifically print multiple entities with a keyword there, like you want to separate them with a specific keyword, we can use the sep keyword. Like you use a sep keyword as a parameter here, and you want to separate each entry which is separated by comma with 4 ampersand symbols. So you can use the separator keyword, which would separate, instead of, by default it's space when you use the print statement with multiple entries, but you want to separate it with a specific symbol, then you have to use the sep keyword. If you just write date, yeah, any date with hyphen here, then each, yeah, any questions? So there is sub keyword where we can use it to specify the separator between multiple arguments. By default it is space. And new line character slash n in Python is considered like a new line character. Whenever it's slash n, that means it would go for the next line. So if you see like C docs Nagesh, so whenever it's slash n, we expect to print the whole text like this. But if it's slash n, we call it like new line character. It's used to insert a new line in the output. So whenever I run this, so C docs and slash n is like next line, Agish is the output. So what we can do is you can give one more backslash to avoid any special character. We can use this backslash symbol here. Then it would be simply C docs Nagesh. So you can use this backslash symbol to avoid a specific character. So with quotations also we have to be very careful, like print to have like world, and then you say world's champion. Let's take world's champion. So when you just want to print this, so it would work like this, because the quotations, double quotations, you started with and ended with it, and you have single quotations here. But the same thing, if you got used with the single quotations and you do like you start with single quotation and you end with single quotation, it would throw error because it gets confused, like till here it's start and end of quotations, but this quotation it's looking for the start of it. So if you just run it, it would throw error. So the solution is that you have to carefully mix and match the single and double quotations, or you can use backslash over here so that it would uh, yeah, avoid this. Just a second, just a second. Okay, is the backslash symbol okay before it? So I have to give backslash symbol before the character to avoid it, not after that, after the symbol. So this is one way, like if you want to print a text with quotations like this, take care of it. So you can avoid a character by the backslash before the character. And we have something called end keyword in the print statement. If you have multiple print statements, you want to control like how you want to end each print statement, then you can use the end keyword like this. So you want everything together. If not, it would be like by default it would be a new line character here. So that's the reason you print hello, then coming next you print hello, how are you. So if you want to end them with a special character, you can use the end keyword and you can use them together. Like, what do you think would be the output now for this? You have the combination of separator and end. Python is awesome and Python is easy. And you have space and you are ending with at the rate. What do you think the output would look like? So I'll just run it. So Python is awesome, and I'm separating with space by default. So if I just separate with Python, then it would be like this. Python is awesome, and then it's ending the second sentence with at the rate. So if you don't specify this end, it would be something like this. By default, in two different lines for two different print statements. So you can explore separator and end keyword. And if I want to print anything for 5 times, then with the knowledge which we have till now, what we would have done like is, if I just want to print hello everyone 5 times, I would have pasted it 5 times and just got it. But tomorrow we are going to see the loops. So if I just have to print hello everyone 100 times, it doesn't make sense. I print like this, like keep copy pasting like 100 times, right? So for something to repeat, here the print statement, we are repeating it for 5 times. If you want to repeat a print statement 100 times, so we need loops. So we are going to start with while loops tomorrow. So, and we are going to write a program to increment a value. So we'll see this program, like you can try this, how to increment a value. You have a variable a equal to 1 and I want to increment a value to 2. So one way is like, directly creating one more variable with a equal to 2, but that's not the case. I want to change the same variable value to 2, how to increment a value by 1. So you can try this as homework, but tomorrow we'll, same time at 8 o'clock, we'll learn new functions like while loops, infinite while loops, even the conditional statements, which are the core concepts of programming language, how to create loops and all in an easy way. We'll see it tomorrow. So yeah, that's all for today. And I hope for the first timers, is it easy with Python or are you facing any difficulty? Any questions? If you have no questions, then you can drop off. See you tomorrow. Take care. Good night. Bye bye. So if you have questions, you can stay back. If you have any issues with the collab notebook, yeah. Okay. Bye bye. So